everyone, welcome back to my channel, and continuing on with the theme of building up our iron stores from our food. That's what we're going to be doing today. So if we were eating animals, we'd be getting the iron from there. However, those animals get their iron from plants. I know, go figure. So we have a whole lot to choose from when we're going to be eating our plants. So what we're going to have today, we're going to choose some green food, which is going to be some kale, and I already have mine cut up. And we're going to have some mushrooms. And the best mushrooms with the iron is going to be oyster mushrooms. So we're going to grill up some oyster mushrooms, and we're going to have our kale greens. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and get these cleaned up. And we're just going to take our mushroom and we'll dip it in there, and we're going to let it sit for a minute. This does not harm your mushrooms, and you only wash your mushrooms when you're preparing to use them or store them. So you would wash them, let them dry out, and then you store them. Maybe put them inside of the freezer. I'm just going to lightly press out some of this water. I want the mushrooms to be wet for this recipe. Look how beautiful they still are. See that? No damage at all. Mushrooms. Okay, now the seasoning that we're going to use for our mushrooms, and get this. Remember that favorite seasoning that you used back when you was eating chicken and you just loved it and you want to use that some more? That's what you're going to use for your oyster mushrooms, okay? Now I am going to call out the ingredients that I'm going to be using on mine, but use your favorite seasoned mix on your mushrooms. And for this, I'm going to keep it real simple. I'm just going to use a little lime, a little salt, and a little cracked black pepper. Okay? So, now what I have this small bowl here, small glass bowl. And I'm going to put a little bit of water in it. This is maybe that's probably about 3/4 of a cup, probably what I just put inside of that. And this is my powdered lime, so I'll call this my lime zest, because this is pulp as well as the skin that I dried up and turned into a powder. So I use this in various recipes. So I'm going to take some of that right down to the water. Okay. Now I'm going to put in some cracked pepper. That was about a teaspoon. Now some cracked pepper. And you want to slightly overdo it with your seasoning going inside of your water too. And when you season up your mushrooms, because we're going to put it on the mushrooms as well. Alright, so there's my cracked pepper, and I'm going to say that might be about a good teaspoon and a half. And now for the sea salt. The sea salt, you don't want to be heavy-handed with the salt. But inside of this water, not much coming out of this thing. really a good quality sea salt is a little wet. It's like oils on it. It's gonna take a little minute to get the good amount out. But really all I want is like half a teaspoon inside of that. So now, there's my liquid. All right, now I'm gonna take my mushrooms and they're gonna go right down inside of this bowl of watery seasoning. Right, so we let the mushrooms just soak all of that up. As much as it wants to soak up, just let it soak it up. Now this head is such a nice size, I'm going to separate it. So I'm just going to take my knife and just kind of just push in and square down. And now I can just rip it, just break it apart like so. There we go. So now I'll take this and put it down in there. And get it all over the back side. Just get it all in there. So now over inside of this bowl is where I'm sitting everything. So now I have 3 clusters. And here's what we're going to do. All of this liquid here, I'm just going to pour it right down over it. There we go. Now what you're going to do is take all of those seasonings that you had inside the water and let it soak up inside of it. Now you're going to put them on top of your mushrooms. So you're going to put them on the top, on the bottom. You're going to get it completely marinated with those seasonings. So I'm going to start with my black pepper. Now you want to rub in the seasoning in your mushrooms. And you want to go all in through the veins in there. Go all in between. And just massage it in. Okay, now these are going inside of the refrigerator from 30 minutes to an hour. And remember, they are wet. So we don't let them stay inside of the refrigerator for like 2-3 days, going on a week when they're wet. We don't do that. 30 minutes to an hour, or just for that day, a couple of hours to get it seasoned on up, and then we're gonna get this on the eye. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get our red onion and 3 types of peppers all chopped up and over inside of our skillet, and go ahead and get our greens on. That's my seaweed water. Alright, so I'm going to be using my cast iron grill skillet. So we're just going to get it all heated up. Once you see it smoking, that's going to be hot enough. So we're going to put in those wet mushrooms and get it all cooked up. Just lay them on. You don't need to put any extra oil or anything inside of it. Just lay it. not gonna eat all this by myself. So let's get this served up for some of my guests.
I don't just ate those by itself. I've never had food.
That's stuff too.
Go ahead.
Yes. Cocktail menu.
Dang, now you gotta give me some viewers. You put the whole thing out. Oh, there we go. It's
I got
only
more.
right. Look,
I got more.
It's the mushroom cookbook. There we go.